Good morning, this is Ashley with MakeMarketingCenter.com, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to use our new drag and drop editor. So I'm going to start with an example. I'm going to go into ads, and then we'll just choose a different format to use. Let's use ag loans in all shapes and sizes. So any particular item that you choose on the portal will always open up in this classic editor. To access the new drag and drop editor, you want to click on this green link right above the customization options. And so the drag and drop editor allows you to add additional elements or take elements away from the original layout that you couldn't do in the classic editor. Alright, so you'll see that our preview is much larger over here on the left side, and we have our customization options over here on the right. So I'm going to go through the menus just to make sure you're familiar with them. For details, it's very similar to that of the classic editor. You can still rename your project, resizing as well, go from inches to pixels, and you can change the color of the FDIC and equal housing logos as well. As for your text, you can add additional text boxes as well as edit the ones that are currently in there. So to edit the current text box, I'm going to click on body. You'll notice the blue tick marks pop up around that layer. Whenever you see the blue tick marks, it's just pointing out what portion of the layout that you're working on. And so I can change my copy in here. I can also resize, change my font type, my font size here, and the color if I wanted to by clicking on that color wheel. These are the PMS colors, and of course you'll have your entire color palette available as well. I can also resize by taking the corners and holding down my mouse and dragging it up and down. So this is resizing the entire box. If I want to just make the box longer, I can do that as well. Now let's say I want to add an additional text box. I'm just going to click on the add text box link right here, and you'll notice the enter your text here popped up in black font. So I'm just clicking on it, positioning it where I want it on the layout, and the edit text box pops up so I can still edit my copy here. You always want to go ahead and click apply to see those changes reflected over here on the left side. I'll change the font color to white as well, and you'll see it's a live preview. Alright, so moving on to the images. Let's change some photos. So we have our gallery here of photos that match the theme, and it is a live preview, so if I go ahead and click on any of these, it will instantly change. I can also change the photo by clicking that add icon, and it's going to open up my options to either upload, choose from my recently used photos, or choose from the stock library. So I can type in my keyword, search, let's say we want to use this guy right here. I'm just going to click add, and now it's available right here. You'll see it's the last one that was added, so now I can just click on that and see how it looks there. I can also resize this by clicking on it. You'll see the blue tick marks pop up again, and I can resize this so that you don't see any of the borders. Now if you want to add additional photos, let's say you want to make this into 2 or 3 photos, I can resize this. And I can add an additional photo by clicking the add photo button up here. So the difference between this add icon and the add photo, use add photo when you want to have multiple images into your layout. And it's just going to drop it right on top, and then you'd be able to resize that if you wanted to. If you want to remove that photo, you have this dialog box that comes up as well. You can rotate it, you can crop it, or you can remove it. Now let's move on to your shapes and your colors. So shapes and colors, anything below this line is something that's already in the layout. Anything above the line is something that we have the ability to add to the layout. So we have color 1, 2, 3, and footer. So if I click on color 1, for example, the dialog box pops up and we see the default color is green. So now I know it's referring to this rectangle at the very top. And if I were to click on the rectangle itself, I can move it around as well. I can also add additional shapes. So let's say we want to add an oval. I'm just going to click on that link there. And you'll notice it defaulted to red. It will always default to red just so that it's very easy for you to see on your layout. But you can resize this any way that you want as well. You can change how transparent it looks by clicking on opacity. 100% is going to be completely solid. Anything less will be a lot more transparent. And you can also change the color. Now if you want to remove this shape, you want to go over to that layer where it says oval and click on the X and the circle. Now let's move on to the addresses. So these are all of your listed address boxes. And because of that live preview, you can easily just click on one and you'll notice it's changing over here at the bottom of your layout. So you can choose the one that matches the best. And last we have our layers menu. So layers is going to break down every element of your layout into editable pieces. And it's by name. So if I click on equal housing, for example, you'll see the blue tick marks pop up around that. I can pick it up and drag it where I want. And I can resize it as well. If you ever want to remove a layer, just go ahead and click on that X that's on the right side. Now at the very top, we've got our undo and redo buttons. This is good for small changes. You'll see that I just brought back our text box. If I want to redo anything, I could do it as well. Our preview PDF is the same as always. It's just going to open up your PDF in a new tab. That way you can get a really good look at everything and see if there's any changes that you want made. Save is just going to drop this project into the archives. And order, you want to click order when you're ready to send this off to either get approved or to some vendors. If you want to just start over in your layout, go ahead and click reset layout and it'll just bring you right back to the beginning of this particular design. That way you don't have to go all the way through the library and start over. We also have the zoom in and zoom out options, these magnifying glasses at the top. I'm going to zoom in and I want you to pay attention to the sizing here. Notice our size is still 8.5 by 11. We're really just zooming in to see certain portions of our layout. We're not making the entire layout larger. Now let's say you want to change the orientation of your ad. First thing you want to do is unlink the sizes, and I'm just going to switch this. So I'll make it 11 and 8.5. I'm going to hit apply. And I'm going to zoom out so we can see our entire layout. So you'll notice that this looks very stretched out and distorted. This is because all it has done is taken our layout and just resized it to be landscape. Now, in order to make it not distorted anymore, all you have to do is click on a particular element in the layout. So for example, I'm going to click on the address box. You'll notice it jumped right back into its correct aspect ratio. And now I can just resize it to make sure it fits. Same for the equal housing lender logo, member FDIC as well. Now for your text, I would just resize that. So I think the size is fine. I'm just going to lengthen it a little bit. And then for our photo, I want to make sure it doesn't look as stretched out anymore. And there you go. So now we have a landscape version of our ad, and we didn't have to start over. We didn't have to do any extra steps. Really just resize, click on your element, and resize it within the layout. All right, thanks.